Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Unfortunately, I have some bad news. The Mercedes the other day failed its first ITV, which in the UK is an MOT. Some of the things that were flagged were not what I expected. Some of them I did honestly think they wouldn't pass, but let's dive in and see what went wrong. So first up, and a pretty obvious one, is the sun strip. Unfortunately, there is no way these are legal here. Now, I've been driving around with it and in front of police and things like that. I've gone to different countries, no one said anything, but for the inspection, you cannot have one of these. This sticker was fine. It does come up a little bit over the sort of black bit, but you can't see it really from the inside, so they're okay with that. Next, we have the tinted tail lights. No good. I've got tints here. I have a tint on this one. They didn't actually notice that one. But these reflectors as well, and the one on the F1 style light on the carbon diffuser. And that brings me to the next one. The diffuser was flagged mainly for the F1 rain light. I think in the UK you can have them as long as they work with the brake lights, and that's why I wired it like that so it didn't flash. Unfortunately here, you cannot have it at all. So we're gonna have to unwire it, cannot function, put some tape over it or something like that so it's not a light anymore. That is a shame. Now we're going under the bonnet for the next one. It is the intake. They didn't notice the charge pipe and they didn't say anything about this heat shield either. But this was flagged because it wasn't on my green card or V5. You've got to declare all the mods to the government here in Andorra. And last but not least, it's the exhaust. Not because it's pointing out like this, it was because it wasn't declared on the car registration. So unlike other places where you can do the mods yourself, you can declare them to your insurance, etc., and then everything's okay, here you can't do that. You need a TUV or CE certified certificate. You also need an installation certificate from an authorized workshop. And if you don't have the TUV or CE certification, you need the part homologated by an engineer to make sure it is legal. This failed the ITV on Friday. I've been a bit bunged up, you can probably hear my nose. I've not been the best. However, all weekend, I have been trying to find a way of getting this car back on the road and legal again. Now, obviously, taking off the sun strip and the tail lights, that's an easy fix. But declaring all these mods when some of them don't have CE or TUV certification, that was a little bit trickier. However, with the help of a lot of people here, they put me through to an engineer who can homologate the parts, or so I thought. Some of them can be homologated. However, when he inspected the car this morning, there is some that even the ITV didn't see that cannot be legalized here. The main one of them is the exhaust. It is a shame. It's really nice. It's got the brand on it, but it cannot be legalized here. So luckily, I have the OEM one over there. So that will have to go back on. Obviously, I'm going to remove the tail light tints, the sun strip, but also I'm going to have to unwire this rain light and put some tape over it. Not too hard to do. Finally, and probably the one that I'm most gutted about, is the front aero. Apparently the law since 2019 is these they do flex, but it only flexes the bumper, and this is very sharp. Doesn't curve enough. This one's not so bad, but this one definitely no. He's advised me to take these off because he cannot do these parts. This front bit's okay because it's curved. The sides, no. I'm gutted because I love how aggressive it is. So in this video, we're going to reinstall the OEM exhaust, take off the sun strip, the tinted tail lights, unwire the F1 rain light, and sort out the front aero. After I've done that, the engineer can give me all the documentation I need to declare all the mods, take it back to the ITV, and hopefully get this bad boy back on the road. Sun strip off, next is the tinted tail lights. So we've got this right light, right reflector, and the middle brake light off. We've just got this left one to do and the left reflector, as well as the F1 lights. I mean, it does look cool like this, but It's not the end of the world, is it? I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing, so let's get these off and then we'll move on. And that's part 2. All the tints are off, both sides. And this one, so we've got to cover this up with tape. So I'm thinking maybe do it with the black vinyl that I did the Christmas lights with. And I also have to disconnect it, and it's wired into this light. Already got the boot out. Got to pop these off and pull this out. The battery's disconnected. Now I'm going to disconnect the wiring that I did. So we've got this earth colour tape, shouldn't matter really. We're going to be hidden just so we don't have any bare wires in the boot. So that's the light disconnected. I'm going to put the battery back on, check these brake lights work fine, and then put the car back together. There we go, boots back together. Now we've just got to cover this up because it can't look like a light. Managed to get this to clip in, which is cool, but this side's just not having it. So we'll have to have another look at that. I was saving this tint film for something, but now I know it's illegal. That is going in the trash. The final step for me is to remove the exhaust and put the OEM one back on. Apart from that, we just need all the parts that have stayed on the car to be homologated. That's being done at the minute, and then hopefully we can pass the ITV and get this bad boy back on the road. As annoying as it is to do all this, there's something that came in the mail the other day which I'm actually really excited to try out. It's in this box. Let's get the car up and I'll show you what's in that. The car is up. It is now time to find out what's in the box. Some assembly required, wheels are on, rolls about. It was the cheapest one on Amazon. I wasn't going to spend a whole bunch of money on this. This material is really weak, and already you can see, I don't know if I put my thumb through it or something when I was taking it off, but it's already torn. So I don't think that'll last long, but hey, it's not designed for comfort, it's to roll underneath the car. Let's see if it's helpful. I think it will be, and let's get this exhaust off. The exhaust is finally off. Has seen better days. It's been driven a lot in the snow. My next problem is trying to get these tips to fit on this section. Now it's more or less the same diameter, but these are oval shaped. I've tried pliers and it did bend it a bit, but it's not the best. And there's no chance that's gonna fit on it. But that's what we're gonna try and do. I need some sort of clamp or vice, because without the OEM fake tips that I got rid of, the exhaust is probably going to come out sort of inside here like that. And if they're that picky about exhausts, even though it's the OEM one, I do kind of want some tips that even just line up. It doesn't have to look good, it just has to be sort of look better than the tips inside the bumper. So that's my next problem. Reversing it back to stock, if you remember, when I put the urban exhaust on, I had the 2 valves and the controller didn't match up. So what I had to do was cycle the car on and off to swap the controller. So what I've done, this is the one that I got from Urban Exhaust, that's the OEM one. I've attached it to the car, I'm going to turn the car on. That should turn the exhaust valve open or closed, and then it should fit in here. There you go. It's set this one to the other position, and now I'm going to put that on the OEM exhaust. That is most of the mounts on the exhaust. I just missed this middle one out because when I did the other one, I put it the wrong way around. So I'll do that on the car. The front one's there, the back two. Put the valve controller on. Today's mission is getting the OEM exhaust on the A45. Now it's not as simple as just putting it back on, because these tips are slightly oval, these are round, and I don't have the fake AMG ones that go in here, and I don't really want them anyway. The next thing I'm going to do is try and bend these tips round, or round enough to fit those exhaust tips on. Update on the new tray, absolutely awesome. It does have a small rip in it, doesn't look like it's got any worse. Makes it way easier to slide underneath here, and also keeping this nice and organized. So I've put the bolts sort of in order so I know from out to in. The same with these, they're not just scattered underneath the car. There is some socket space for the tray. Highly recommend this. I'm not aching as much, only just from like having a cold and things like that am I aching, so that's pretty awesome. We also have a selection of tools that I'm going to use, try and make these exhaust tips more round. Got some wrenches, hammers, pry bar. So I'm struggling trying to bend these bits in. I can get the outside bit bent, but he is having none of it. So my thought is I'm going to try, these are the clamps off the titanium exhaust. I think it might give in, but I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to put that round here. I'm going to put the bolt on. I have to take these bits off, so that's why I don't think this is going to hold, but we're going to give it a go and try and compress that until it's round. Don't do that, the bolt heats up quite hot and gets stuck. It was worth a go though. There is literally no way those tips are going to fit on this. Even if I could get them perfectly round, the diameter is too small for this exhaust. I'm going to put it on and see how far the tips are away from poking out the diffuser, because I did explain to the engineer that would happen because I don't have the OEM tips. What I'll do is get it all fitted, take some pictures, send it to the engineer, and then see what he says. So the exhaust is not fully bolted up, but the front end's hooked on the two screws. The exhaust hangers are installed, and that's what it looks like without the exhaust tips. So we've got quite a big gap. You can see. So we'll see if this is acceptable or not. Definitely gonna have to look for some exhaust tips for that, or get some made. So the engineer's got back to me, everything's okay. It's just an aesthetic thing with the exhaust tips, so I'm working on a solution for that. But in the future, I'll definitely be looking for parts with CE or TUV certification. If they don't have that, I'll send him the links to all the products that I want to do and all the mods that I want to do in advance before I go ahead and spend some money, because between the exhaust and the air is a huge chunk of money that I've essentially wasted for now. I'm not going to throw the parts away. Like I said, the exhaust has got the brand on, so I think I'm going to clean it up, put that on the wall. I have got an idea for the aero. It is still in the car for now. Obviously the tints is what it is. It's not so expensive, but that's a shame. So lesson learned, do your research if you don't know about modifying a car in your country or moving to another country like I did, and then you've got to follow their rules, especially for the ITVs. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. This isn't going to halt the progress, it's just going to make me have to look a bit smarter and look for different ways to achieving the goal, what I want from this car. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.